Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Story, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. If being a human being has taught me anything, it's that money is usually what causes problems with relationships. It's why a lot of relationships end, friendships, family type of relationships, all the things. So I thought, why not read some Reddit stories all about money and the drama that it causes? So all of these are from Best of Browder Updates because you guys know I love a conclusion. They're kind of my favorite thing, and they help me sleep at night. So that's what we're going to be diving into today. Before I jump in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, all the things on whatever platform you're currently listening or watching on. Takes about 0.2 seconds, is totally free, helps me reach my dreams, and would mean the absolute world. Like, you would be my favorite person ever if you did that. So, yeah, if you're a nosy bystander who, like, really just enjoys listening to the drama but doesn't like being in the drama, this is the perfect place for you because honestly, same. So, yeah, if you like some stories, you like some kikiing, you like a little chit chat, this is the place to be. If you're on a platform where you can comment, please do so because I love chit chatting with you guys about all of these stories. I want to know your thoughts because you have opinions too. I'm not the only one here, and I'm sure sometimes they differ from mine or you have something to add. So definitely let me know. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into today's episode. I'm Grace Story, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. So this first one is from 19 hours ago, so it's pretty new, and it is titled, Am I the A-hole for refusing to tell my boyfriend how much money I make? And let's see. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but we're gonna find out. It was originally posted on February 9th, 2026, and the original title was, Am I the A-hole for considering a breakup after boyfriend bailed on being my surgery ride? The plot thickens already. I, 29 female, have been with my boyfriend, 39 male, for about a year and a half. He's kind, social, and really busy. Early on, he told me he's bad at planning, quote unquote, which I accepted. In reality, it meant I adapted to him. Our time together was usually probably Friday or maybe Sunday, and I wait until the day of to know if we were actually seeing each other. I feel like this is something, we're pausing for a second. I feel like this is something that early on, like a lot of women and men deal with, where it's like, oh, I'm just bad at planning. And that's just an excuse for not making the time to see you or not putting forth the effort to make plans. And I feel like we've all fallen for it at one point or another. Like, oh, I'm just really busy. But I'm starting off not great because if you like someone, you will make time for them and you will put forth the effort to do things for them. And asking for that is like the bare minimum. Like asking for someone to schedule something is the bare minimum. And so him saying, "Oh, I'm not able to do that," and like maybe I'll fit you into my schedule is not great, but we're gonna keep reading. Over time, I noticed I was basically the only flexible part of his life. He never misses poker night, gym class, or frequent like family dinners. Those are always set, but with me, plans stay loose. I stopped pushing and just opted to keep my schedule open, telling myself that if I wanted to see him, this was how it worked. We've been on 2 vacations, for instance, but when it comes to more routine life, this is the pattern I've noticed. Another question slash red flag, why aren't you invited to these family dinners? You've been dating for a year and a half. I get maybe not going to every single one, but you aren't invited. I don't know. I feel like at that point, you should just be like a part of his life. Like, I know my relationship went a little quick and we were doing that stuff like a month in, but at some point, like, you need to be a part of the family if that's what your future is going to be, like a part of that family. And I don't know. That I don't like that either. Red flag number 2, but we're gonna keep reading. It does bother me, but in the end, he is available and we see each other pretty frequently. And when we do see each other, he is focused and attentive. I guess that's why I put up with it. It felt like a planning issue, not really a priorities issue or a quality time issue. I mean, I can see that, I guess, like if he's not like on his phone, but I see where you're coming from. The last week, something changed in me. I had a medical procedure scheduled one morning, a minor surgery, but I did go under, and I couldn't drive afterward or take a ride share because the hospital won't let you. He had told me earlier in the week that he'd be free and would take me. That morning, he texted saying he'd forgotten and had already committed to helping a friend move. He suggested I take an Uber and said we'd quote unquote, make it up another time. Question mark, question mark. I explained that I couldn't and that this was surgery and I'd really like to not worry about this at 6:30 a.m. the day of. He caved, but was standoffish when he picked me up, which obviously was not great after being intubated. Oh, this is gonna bother me. Okay. This is a conversation that I have had with my friends a lot because when you are in your early 20s and mid 20s and so on, you're typically dating and not every relationship is serious. However, you will find like that person that you're serious with and the difference that that has on like your priorities. So, helping a friend move when you've been dating someone for like a month and it's not serious, it's more of like hooking up. Yeah, your friend who you've had since like childhood should probably take priority. But you've been dating this man for a year and a half. You gave him a heads up and it's surgery. So, it's not like you have a lot of flexibility there. A lot of times they pick when you have it and you just go whenever they tell you to. So, the fact that the morning of he's saying, "Sorry, I had to help a friend move," which is very stressful. We just moved. It's very stressful, and sometimes you are in a time constraint where you only have that one day. He should have you as the priority at that point, because it's been so long and you should be serious enough, I feel like. Also, moving is a day-long thing. It sounds like you just needed him to pick you up and take you home. It would be nice for him to take care of you and make sure you're alive and things like that because depending on the surgery, like, there could be complications. But yeah, he could just help his friend move after he's done, and if he told his friend, like, "Hey, I'm doing taking her home from surgery," they should be understanding, but also he should have the ability and, like, to not double book. Like, things happen, so I'm giving him a lot of benefit of the doubt here, a lot, but he should've known better, and yeah, even if he helped you out, he could still help his friend move. Continuing. Last night, I told him how bothered I was. He said I was being unfair because I know how he is with planning and that I hadn't really stressed the importance of this. Oh, here we go. Okay. My biggest pet peeve, I have a lot of biggest pet peeves, but for this video, my biggest one is when someone says that's just the way they are. Like, oh, I'm bad with planning. That's just the way I am. That sounds like a reason, but not an excuse. You're also an adult. You should have gotten better at planning. Like, that's not something that you can't change. That's something you can change, and you're choosing not to because you're making an excuse. So maybe don't. Maybe learn to be a better planner. Okay? Because you're unreliable. And something that you need in a partner is someone who is reliable. Something you need in a friendship is someone who is reliable. Something that would be nice in a family members if they were reliable. And a lot of these issues stem from them not being reliable. So, yeah, that drives me a little crazy. I told him I don't want to continue like this and that this affected my ability to trust him in a serious situation. He says I'm overreacting and punishing him for a one-time mistake that is partly on me. Some friends say I trained him to treat me this way and I should try to salvage. I feel done. Am I the a-hole? So we have not gotten into the money parts yet, but that was just the first post. Let's read the top comments and then we will move on to the update. You're a low priority for him and you either need to be fine with that or kick him to the curb. Exactly. It sounds like he's treating you like a fling that is like a month long and you think it's a lot more serious than he does. Like he's viewing you as like those relationships that are just like a step above friends with benefits. Like you're dating, but like it's like yeah, she's cute and like we hook up, but like I don't see it going anywhere. Like I don't see a future and you're just kind of like a placeholder, you're kind of a step below the placeholder, honestly. That's how I'm viewing it, but it sounds like you are viewing it like an actual relationship, and because you're so nice, he is taking advantage of you. Another comment is 10-year age gap and doesn't prioritize you when you're literally in the effing hospital. Don't be dumb, babe. Yes, okay. I totally miss the age gap. So he's 39. Yeah, no. Time to grow up. Sorry. I'm sorry. Hate to say it. Last relevant comment is even if the logic of you trained him to treat you this way made any sense, it's easier to start a new relationship with someone who has respect for you and can't be trained into deprioritizing you than staying with someone who doesn't give an F about you. That being said, you didn't train him. You maybe allowed yourself to be treated like an afterthought, but that's only because he felt that way and started doing it first. Any person who holds themselves to a standard in their relationship cannot be taught to deprioritize their partner. This man has shown you time and time again how little you matter to him. Good on you for knowing your worth and leaving. 100% agree. Okay, wait. So the original one is just there for context, but that was not like the money post. That is just one that they included so that you understood their relationship dynamics. So now we're getting into the money stuff. So this is where the one that is titled "Am I the a-hole for refusing to tell my boyfriend how much money I make" actually starts. And it was posted 3.5 weeks after the first one, so March 2nd, 2026. So still pretty fresh. I, 29 female, have been with my boyfriend, 39 male, for about a year and a half. We are definitely on the serious side, but I have learned some lessons and like to take things slow. Okay, so that's additional context that is good to know, but it sounds like you're on the serious side and he's not. Just saying. We're gonna keep reading though. We will typically spend 1 or 2 nights a week together, but not every weekend, for instance. The fact that we both have pets is also a factor. I have 2 cats and he is a mountain dog. He isn't a great planner either, and we've had some huge fights over that, but overall, he's a good guy and I'm committed to him. I'm glad you're committed to him, but is he committed to you? We are fairly normal and have talked about all the things people normally talk about after this time period of dating: formative memories, exes, what we want out of life, etc. We are pretty aligned on just about everything. Early on, maybe 1 month in, he got curious about my financial situation, and I said that that was a boundary for me. He accepted it and moved on, but it's come up again and again. This is over the course of months, so it's not like he's forcing the issue, but money discussions do arise. I mean, you have been dating for a year and a half, and you believe that you're on the serious side of things. So I feel like finances is something you talk about pretty soon after you become serious. Like, once you start envisioning a future with someone, you need to know their finances because it's just important. Like, it's just something that is really important to talk about because if you move in together, which at a year and a half, I feel like a lot of people do live together, that's obviously a huge factor. Like, if he's helping you with bills or vice versa, I just can't imagine not knowing my boyfriend's like financial situation a year and a half into us dating, because at that point we were helping each other with bills. Like, we were taking on some responsibilities. We were in this together. Like, part of a partnership is you are becoming one in the sense that it's your debt, it's your house, it's your responsibilities, and we still have separate bank accounts, like we do. But the thing is, like, how we do it is he has bills that he pays, I have bills that I pay. Outside of that, what you spend your money on is all good. As long as we cover our basics, and if it's like a huge deal, obviously, like, have a conversation if you're buying like a huge thing. But whatever, like, if he wants to go spend his money on video games and I spend my money on books, like, as long as our bills are paid, it's not a huge deal. But we know around about what the other person makes and how much is coming in and out of their account. I feel like if you really are serious, it's something to note. It's weird that he just doesn't sound like you guys are that serious or believes you guys are that serious and wants to know about the money thing. Makes me wonder if he is holding back because he thinks that you are trying to, like, take his money or, like, be a gold digger or something like that. I'm not saying that you are, obviously, at all, but I know that men, even if they don't make that much money, typically jump to, "Well, is she gonna, like, take all my money or steal from me or whatever?" And it's just, like, a thing, a barrier that they typically have. So, by not telling him, maybe it's giving him, like, this mental block where he can't get serious. I don't know. Does that make sense? Maybe it doesn't, but let's just continue. We took a trip to Hawaii, for instance. I said, I think it's responsible to split it down the middle, but I'll be honest, maybe it isn't. The truth is, he makes about half of what I do. We both have salary jobs that pay similarly, but I have a couple of freelance gigs which dramatically increase my income. I came from pretty stark poverty, and the idea of sharing money with a man is very difficult for me. It came up again recently, and again, I said, I don't want to go there. He said he thinks it's weird, but we've been together this long and haven't. He didn't come at me or really dwell on the issue or anything, but it still makes me feel guilty or like I'm doing something wrong. Okay. Taking the previous context out, in general, I get it. I come from a situation where, like, it's traumatic, where I believe that I need to be financially stable, like, independently from my boyfriend. And it's not that he did anything wrong. It's just I have seen situations where when women have been divorced unexpectedly or their husband cheats on them or something, they are just thrown out. They have no money. Like, they have to really hustle. And I'm scared of that. Even if your husband passes away or something. So I get needing to be financially independent, but also I'm not a person who believes in 50-50. Like, Josh and I have had situations where he's made 4 times what I make, and then he pays, like, 75% of the bills, or I've had situations where I make more than he does, and so I take on more, and that's just, like, helping each other out. Like, I've never been a 50-50 person where I'm like, "Oh, you pay 50 and I pay 50," because realistically, like, that's just not feasible for us and, like, our careers. Like, I don't ever want finances to be a reason why we don't pursue, like, a dream or a goal. Like, obviously within reason, don't just quit your job and be dumb, but, like, if you are hustling and working hard and I'm making more, I am happy to help, and, when I'm down on my luck, I am so blessed that he believes that, like, he can help me out. Like, it's a partnership, so I don't think that 50-50 when it's not 50-50 is necessarily, like, the way to go, but that is a personal decision. Like, if you guys do 50-50 and that works for you, great. If it's 60-40, 75-25, 80-20, it's whatever works for you. I do think that if you are not working as much and you're working less hours regardless of what you make, maybe picking up around the house more or picking up in areas where the other person may not be able to because they're working more hours would probably be like, I think that's fair. And if you can't, like, help financially or in that way, being able to help around the house or things like that is fair in my opinion. But as long as it gets done, like, as long as everything gets done, then that's the way it goes. And I don't necessarily think that, like, having, like, a unspoken contract of, like, it has to be 50-50 and you're SOL if you don't contribute that is not fair. And I don't think that that's what a relationship should be built on. But whatever works for you. So no one they did not leave any relevant comments, but a couple of the top comments are, "You're not married, he can pay half, your money is your business until you're married." Okay. I wouldn't necessarily agree that marrying someone and not knowing their financials is a good idea, but I guess, like, I think that when you don't need to know until you're planning on getting married and you're having those conversations, but it's at that point, like, you should. Commenter 2 said, "If you're getting to the point of talking about moving in together or even marriage, he should have some idea of your finances." Okay, same. I agree. Before getting married, you both should put all of it on the table: income, assets, savings, debt, everything. Get a prenup to protect what you're bringing in. Don't feel bad about keeping separate accounts for shared expenses and personal funds. Make sure you're on the same page for retirement savings and emergency funds. It will be fair if you paid a higher proportion of shared expenses if you make more than he does, but be sure he's not taking advantage. Agreed. Fully agree. Commenter 3 said, "It's fine if you're just dating, if you're planning on getting engaged or married, you need to talk about it, especially if you move in together. You can get your money separate, but it's important to know each other's financial situations. When do you want him to tell you if he made close to nothing or had a ton of debt before committing long term?" And then the last comment that was added is, "A year and a half in and he doesn't know how much you make is definitely weird. If you don't want a future with him, let him go." Okay, so it seems like we're all pretty much on the same side here. Here is an update that is 6 days later, so it was March 8th, 2026, and it says, "I read all the comments and have been thinking a lot about my relationship. I had also posted that he didn't pick me up for surgery, which is a pretty serious issue that lots of people called a huge red flag. This is also in a context where making plans always made me feel like a low priority. I don't really think I got over all of that. After lots of reflection, I concluded that we just aren't a match. I think I'm guarded with him because he continues to show signs of inconsistency and uncertainty around me. I don't think I can trust him and open up more, and beyond this income thing, there are other aspects to me that I don't care to share with him. We have also been very slow about integrating with each other's friends and family. Basically, it's barely happened. I met his mom once, but it was more of a coincidence than an actual meeting. I've been waiting for him to initiate more, and he just hasn't. I was of the mind that I should just be patient, but I started to feel it should just end. I did the right thing and met with him for the breakup, and he was understanding. We both agreed it sucked, and we did have some good times, even some great ones, but this has run its course. The only thing that he did that didn't sit well with me was him calling it a situationship, which I felt was him trying to minimize the relationship because he just got dumped, but all in all, not that big of a deal, and he has been civil otherwise. I knew it. I knew he was going to say something like that. I called it. Appreciate everyone's thoughts and looking forward to greener pastures once this all passes over." And here are the last top comments. The situationship comment was bonus material in case you need reminding you did the right thing. True. The surgery post was really it for me. That he doesn't have a problem with time management when it comes to his poker nights or the gym or his family events shows it's not really about time management, but priorities and where you place on them. What really got me was how he treated you when he did pick you up and that he really never apologized for this. The fact you were with him for a year and a half and didn't feel safe telling him your salary was a really telling piece of information. Being transparent about finances is a really important part of a committed long term relationship, and that you had hesitancy over this shows things weren't where they need to be. Agree. Agree. So, I'm glad that you guys broke up. I think that it's really important to consider, like, for me personally, I feel like you'll know when someone is the one for you. And I think that when you're younger, it is a lot of rose-colored glasses, and maybe you think someone's a person and they're not, but you're 29. So I think that everybody has had different experience, but I think that you would know, like, you should know enough and have enough life experience to know if someone's the one or not. And it just didn't sound like the way that you talked about him, either one of you knew that you were the one. You should know that, like, pretty quickly. So I'm glad you guys broke up. It just wasn't meant to be. And he didn't prioritize you. You didn't feel safe around him to tell him your deepest, darkest secrets, your salary, things like that. So I'm glad that you guys ended it. This next one is titled My 23 Female Boyfriend 25 Male Used the Dog Savings for a Computer. This is going to be good. Original post is from August 18th, 2020. So it's a little bit of a old one, but still relevant. I know the title was a little odd, but it was the best way I could summarize what he's done. I have an 11-year-old senior German Shepherd. He was hit by a car in 2018, and we went through a very difficult recovery process. He had seizures, urine issues, constant fear of anything going fast near him, like I couldn't throw a ball anymore. We had another puppy, but our senior was so stressed we had to rehome her. You would have sworn he was displaying upset behavior, like he had a really bad past, but he was just scared. He's moved past all of that, and I'm so proud of him. The vet prescribed zoniamide for his seizures, and so far he's been recovering well. We were discussing ways to improve his quote-unquote mobility. It's like a walking cane, but for dogs, and it has sensory objects on the end to prevent him from bumping into furniture. We tested it in the office, and his mood improved instantly, but at that time, I couldn't afford more treatment for him, so I opted to come back. As someone with two German Shepherds, they I can imagine it being rough, like, not having his autonomy because they are, like, wired to have a job, and more often than not, especially if it's, like, a female with a male, they are very, very protective. They're not always aggressive towards other people that try to come near you, but that is, like, their job. Like, I have a male German Shepherd, and he lives to guard me, and he's not, like, aggressive, he's not mean, like, he doesn't go after anybody, but he follows me around, and, like, if I need help or anything, he is very helpful. Like, he'll open doors for me and stuff. He's always within, like, 10 feet of me. He makes sure I'm okay. If I'm not feeling good, he's there. Like, he is like a little helper, and he views that as his job, and if I take that away from him, or, like, say I go on vacation where he's home with his dad, or, like, I am not with him a ton and he's just not around as much, like, he's outside with his dad, you can tell that it affects his mood because he gets really upset because that's, like, his job, and I'm taking that away from him. So I can understand how having some sort of autonomy or some sort of trauma, I mean, any dog that has been through this is gonna be really upset, but taking away the mobility of, like, a working breed, I can see how that would really, really bother them. Let's keep reading. I met David earlier this year while walking him. He's known since day one that my dog requires special treatment and I would absolutely provide it. Everything went well and he wasn't controlling or abusive. Everything just clicked. But it's my fault because I was too comfortable. We were talking about finances and I told him about my debt and the money I was saving up for my dog. After paying off the debt from his previous treatments, I didn't want to open another card, so I started saving cash in a little fireproof chest. He stole it. Yesterday, I went to his place and noticed he had a new setup. I was asking him where he got the money from, and we fought, and he said, "He's half dead anyway, you need to let go." That is so bad. Like, that just made my stomach drop. First off, it's not your fault for getting too comfortable. It's his fault for being a horrible human being. Nothing that you did was wrong. You thought that you could trust someone who is literally someone you're in a relationship with, and that's wrong. Like, that's wrong. I know that you said earlier this year, so I'm not sure how many months it's been, but you should be able to trust someone, and I'm sorry that he did that. It was a smart thing to do to save up money and all that. I hate that you're gonna be so jaded by trusting someone and them taking advantage of it. And he's obviously a horrible, horrible person for making that comment and being so flippant about it, but, ugh, that just makes my heart hurt for you. He's not even close to passing away. He's a little older, but he's nowhere near passing away. We go to the veterinarian regularly, and everything checks out as well as it can be given his circumstances. No one has ever mentioned that he's on his way out. We've only been looking at the future and improvements. I'm so upset. What do I do? Well, both students, I don't want to call the police and ruin his future, but that was for my baby to get what he needed so he can walk around my home comfortably. Yeah, I have absolutely no remorse for someone who is so bold about this. Call the police. I don't know how much it was. I don't know if it would be a small claims issue, but I mean that is theft. So I don't think that it would fall under like a small claims thing. I think that you would definitely get like arrested and it would be like a misdemeanor depending on how much it is. But no, you're not ruining his life because you're holding him responsible for his actions. If he really feels that way, he ruined his own life by doing it. Also, I hope you're still not dating him. So, OP responded to a deleted comment that we don't have, but this was their response. It's a very fair point to make. I don't mean to argue, but the vet hasn't brought up any sort of things that you would do to help a dog over the Rainbow Bridge as a solution and is always giving a positive outlook. He's been steadily recovering. I don't want him to go before he's ready. Either way, whether that's your money, like full stop, take the dog's health out of the issue or out of the situation. It is your money. Even if he passed away tomorrow, that's your money to use however you want. Like you worked hard to save that. Come to one said, you need to get out of the relationship immediately and call the cops right now. That guy stole money from you. That guy doesn't care about your feelings or your dog at all. He stole money. He knew you needed to treat your baby. He has no empathy and no morality. That could get super dangerous for you in the future if you stay with him. I get that you don't want to destroy his future, but he obviously didn't care about you or your dog's future. He destroyed it himself. So please call the cops and get help. This is about your money, your dog, and your safety. The original poster commented and said, I'm on the non-emergency line right now. They're going to send an officer out and I'll update when everything is done. I'm too old to cry, but I really don't want to escalate things or hurt anyone. I really trusted him. Bessie, you're never too old to cry. You're also so young. You're 23. Like, do not beat yourself up. This is something that I feel like any 23-year-old, we are very quick to trust. I'm not 23 anymore, but when I was 23, very quick to trust, very, very quick to believe like, oh, this is my forever, like this is my happily ever after, see the best in people. And that's a like beautiful quality to have. That's not a bad thing. So cry if you need to. There's no age limit on crying. And I'm glad that you're taking care of business and doing what's right by your baby. Commenter 2 said he didn't steal from the dog, he stole from you. Literally theft. Report him to the police and end the relationship. Think about it. It's your savings and you've barely been dating. Take the dog out of the equation. He stole from you. Exactly. So here is the next update. It is from February 27th, 2021, over 6 months later. And I do want to give a trigger warning. The dog does pass away, so if that is triggering, feel free to skip ahead. But it says, my dog passed away today. I think it was a seizure or an episode. I don't know. He was fine until now. He wasn't stressed and he wasn't in pain. I remember this thread and everyone who helped me. I want to come back and say thank you for both of us. The vet got the donations and I got a loan for the rest. We really tried, but he didn't want to stay anymore. There's an active case for the theft. That's all I can say on that. He's my ex now. We don't talk anymore. I don't have my dog anymore. Thanks for listening. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that he passed away. I'm sorry you had to take a loan out. I hope that at this point the case has closed and you were able to get that funding back and you were able to pay off the loan with that. I hate how long the system takes in situations like this, but I'm glad that your dog left on his own terms. You said that he didn't want to stay anymore, and when they're ready, they're ready. It's hard, but I'm glad that you did what was best by him and you were able to get the funds to continue to care for him until he was ready. So the top comment is, I'm so sorry for what you're experiencing. Your pup is now free from all earthly sufferings and back to chasing his ball with complete liberty. I think losing pets is one of the harshest factors of the human condition, and I am truly feeling your pain right now. I remember reading your first post, and I'm happy your pup made it this far and was able to see you prioritize him in his last year over that jerk face. Your baby loves you so much, and I'm certain he'll be watching over his beloved protector. Yeah, I agree. I 100% believe that when pets pass away, they become your guardian angels. Like, they're your guardian angels on earth. When they pass away, they don't leave you. They just continue to become your guardian angel in a different world, or in a different, dimension. They're looking down on you from heaven. But yeah, I'm so sorry, but hopefully everything worked out. But I'm glad that your pup got to live out his days with such an owner who loves him like so much. But yeah, your ex-boyfriend is a POS, and I'm glad you took the trash out. Hopefully you got the case to go well as well. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my boyfriend over a penny? And this was posted on March 3rd, so very recent. I, 25 female, and my boyfriend, 25 male, have been dating since high school. He knows I have my weird quirks and rituals due to my OCD. Same girl, OCD gang. And it's been a prominent thing in our relationship. He knew this before we started dating, and it has never been an issue before. I love him so much, and I may have overreacted, but I don't know. Well, I'm happy to help you decide if you did or not. As someone who also has OCD and never knows, like, if I was overreacting or if, like, it was genuinely a valid response, I got you. For some context, I was diagnosed with OCD when I was around 7 years old, and not like where I have to be tidy or anything. For me specifically, I do things in sets of two. I have reoccurring thoughts, bad anxiety, act. I do things in sets of four, have reoccurring thoughts, and have bad anxiety. So I'm just like relating all over the place. Like, same girl. I get it. But enough about me, This is about you. Let's talk. At first, I feel like my boyfriend was really supportive. He'd make comments here and there and poke fun at it, like, did you do it twice? Or something like that. And never really bothered me up until recently. He tries to do things that he knows will upset me and make me spiral just for fun. One thing I like to do is pick up pennies for good luck. Not that I believe in luck, but just always do it and I feel like I need to do it. Oh, girl. This is already upsetting me. So, superstitions are one thing that is very common with OCD is you have to follow superstitions because, like, anything that's uncertain is very, very stressful for someone with OCD, and living in, like, that uncertainty is what they teach you to do, but superstitions fall under uncertainty because there's always that little chance that it's real. So, for me, I have a really hard time, and something that I really worked on is, like, stepping on cracks because there's that superstition that if you step on a crack, you'll break your mama's back, and so, like, especially tile, like, in malls, the big tiles where it's, like, you could step in them, but there's a lot of, like, like, the lines around the tile. I had a really hard time doing that when I was younger. I've gotten a lot better about being able to step on, like, the lines, but that's an example of a superstition, so I totally get having to pick up pennies, little weird, like, superstitious things. OCD people really follow them because you feel like there's a little percentage that you'll get bad luck or your mom's back will break or things like that. So yeah, the fact that your boyfriend is not respecting that and, like, trying to make you spiral is crazy. Like, I don't that's not great. Like, if he's gonna notice, he might as well be helpful. If he's not helpful, then what is he doing? Like, clearly he doesn't respect your mental health. But we're continuing. So a few weeks ago, he was talking with his friends, and they had brought up something, and I guess they caught me in one of my little habits. It's one where I had to crack my knuckles a certain way. His friends kind of laugh and ask me what I'm doing. My boyfriend goes, OCD freak. Excuse me? No. I know he was joking, but, like, why is he trying to embarrass me in front of his friends? A different time, he asked me why I had to be so embarrassing. Oh my god. So, obsessive compulsions, that's what it is. So you take the littlest thing and you obsess over it. And it's different for everybody. Like, some people it's tidying, some people it's superstitions, some people it's all of the above. But for me, one thing I struggle with is if someone says, like, I'm lazy or I'm ugly or I'm a loser or any of those things, I've gotten really good about if I don't know you. So, like, those trolls on the internet, don't bother me. But if it's, like, someone that I care about, like, I care about their opinion, like my boyfriend or my mom or, like, anything like that, they would never say that. But I've had friendships where it turned out to be really toxic, and they've been like, you're kinda ugly," or, like, "You could lose some weight." Like, friendships that I am no longer in, thank God, But because of the obsessive compulsive, you play that on a loop in your head. Having OCD, I was talking to my therapist about this. It's like having a bully in your head that has access to every little thing in your life. So they know what'll hurt you the most. Like they know what bothers you the most. And so it's like having that little bully in there and they know like, oh, so and so said this to me in the 8th grade and I always kept that with me and it's like, oh, it's sore subject for me. So they will bring that up in your head. I say they like it's a separate person, but I know it's not. It's just the easiest way to explain it. So she may say like, "Ugh, that's embarrassing," and she may not be like bothered by the OCD freak part, but she's like, "Why did he embarrass me? That was embarrassing. That was so embarrassing. I can never be around these people again." They're gonna think that I'm a freak. I'm embarrassed by that. Like those are the obsessive thoughts that you have to just like work on stopping. But that is ooh, that makes me mad, and, like, I don't know if like, you've explained that to him, he shouldn't call you a freak because that's mean no matter what your mental health is, but, like, maybe I don't know if you've explained, like, the compulsive, like, obsessive part of it, and so maybe he was doing it, like, jokingly and didn't realize how bad that would, like, affect you, but let's keep going. So the other day, we're walking downtown and I pick up this penny and he notices. When we get beside the river, he takes my penny and throws it in there. I start freaking out and obviously my mind spiraled with thoughts that weren't true, but still scary. Like, you're gonna get bad luck. I literally started to tear up and he told me I'd be fine. I asked him why he would do that and he said it wasn't a big deal. I told him that he knew before we started dating that my OCD was a huge part of who I was and that little things like this really set me off. He told me to not be so sensitive, so I brought up everything he had been doing for the past few weeks and I told him if he couldn't accept this part of me, then I don't want to be with him. I ended up getting my mom to pick me up, and I haven't seen him since. It's only been 2 days. He keeps texting me and apologizing, but I don't know if I should keep him in my life or not. His weird, snarky replies about my OCD and like taking my penny and throwing it. It sounds stupid, but it really made me upset. Okay, so twofold here. You should not be dating this man because that is so extreme and I like my chest, I could feel the OCD bubbling in my chest like when you said that. Like that is that's a hard line for you. I have hard lines. There's things that bother my OCD not that much and there's hard lines that it's like Josh has crossed them and not realizing it because I didn't communicate with him like, "Hey, if you move that or if you change this or if you take this and like put it in a different spot and don't tell me, I will spiral and have like a full OCD panic attack." And so him, like, knowing I can't imagine because it's so you feel so helpless, but at the same note, I do recommend to anyone, like, ERP therapy because you'll get to a point where you can live with this, and when something like this happens, you don't feel as stressed or scared or, you don't spiral, but that's something you can do in your own time, and he can't force you to do that, um, and yeah, you need to break up with him. Edit to the one who said I needed therapy, just so everyone knows, I'm in therapy. OCD is a mental disorder that you cannot just simply rid of until you have it, you won't understand it. Yes. Yes, I'm glad you said that because yes, ERP therapy or OCD therapy is different than regular therapy. If you get regular therapy, it can actually worsen your OCD and everyone goes at their own pace. Like it is literally like you are doing exposures where you're just forced to be exposed to things that make your OCD really bad and you cannot like the goal is to not react to it. So the goal is to get to a point where you're able to talk yourself down from that spiral so that you can live with it and then it doesn't affect you as much. So, yeah, I'm glad that you're in therapy as long as you are going at your own pace. Like I think anyone with OCD should go, but it is something you're going to have for your entire life. It does worsen, it does get better. I'm not like the expert, like I don't have a degree in like psychology or anything. I just have it and I've had it my whole life, and so I'm very, very familiar with it. But yeah, it is a mental disorder. There's gonna be times where it's really, really bad, where it's not so bad, where your baseline is somewhere and it just like you go up and down. So I'm glad that you are talking like with someone who can help you with it. And that's all I can ask for. Edit 2, I want to come on here and clear some things. I've read your comments and want to thank everyone for giving me advice. No, I have not come back yet. I told him we'd talk sometime this week, but that I felt firm in my decision. First of all, this post was made to judge if I was the a-hole for leaving my boyfriend over this. People have taken it and questioned the integrity of my disorder, told me to get help, and I shouldn't make it my whole life. Girl, no, like, it is your whole life. That's the thing. I always say that out of all of my mental disorders, because I have quite a few, OCD is my least favorite because yeah, it is your whole life and you can mitigate it, but it it's always there. Like, it's always in the back of your mind. As long as you are with, like, having someone to help you through it, you're fine. But people should not have really, like, done that. Like, regardless of if you have OCD or not, he's still a bad person. He was still um mistreating you, telling you he's sorry and apologizing was really manipulative because you've been so straightforward. So, regardless of where you're at with your OCD, he should not have treated you that way. It is a mental health disorder. I have been to 2 psychiatrists, 3 therapists, and so many doctors to try and help. The knowledge you guys have is limited. This means these little rituals are the easy end of my disorder. Something I have to live with, being okay with having OCD. No one can make me feel bad for having it. I had to learn I was not a freak. It took me aback, though, when someone so close to me could treat me this horribly. Yes, that's the thing. So, I'm glad that you said it didn't make you feel like you were a freak, because that's something I'm currently working on in therapy, is, like, feeling like you are just crazy or insane or a freak, or because you do have to work so much harder to just be, like, a functioning part of society. And so that's why I was like, "Oh, that may not have bothered you, but, like, that's not great." Like, that is something that I know I would focus back on. Continuing on with the edit, it says, "I would never fake OCD for karma. I just got Reddit and don't even understand how the whole karma thing works. I simply wanted to see what should be done in my situation. To the people telling you to get help, again, I assume you aren't medical professionals. I've gotten plenty of help and I've learned many coping techniques. This does not mean that my OCD just vanishes. It is a part of me and will always be. If my boyfriend did not like this part of me, then he shouldn't have gotten with me since I have been so open about it. Another thing, when I say it's a huge part of me, it does not mean I make it a big deal to others. It is a big deal, but to myself. When I'm having episodes, I don't take it out on others and make them deal with my problems. It's something I've learned to deal with alone. It's me, it's who I am, but I don't let it define me in my relationships. My OCD is not like an overbearing mother who becomes between relationships, but sometimes it certainly will get triggered. Please, if you've never been through it, you don't understand it." I am so proud of you for how you worded this and, like, just clapping back, because it's so easy. Like, I mean, my main coping mechanism is avoidance, which is not great. So I would have just shut the laptop and been like, I'm going in my corner and crying. So I'm glad you handled this the way you did. A lot of people don't understand that OCD, like, it is a lifelong thing. So, for example, I have been working through a lot of my triggers. There's triggers that aren't bothering me as much. But I just recently, like, started eating the same thing almost every morning. And I have to have, like, 8 raspberries in my yogurt every morning. Like, I have to put 8 raspberries in. And so that's, like, a new thing that I started doing. And it's like I was talking to my therapist, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if this is necessarily, like, bad. Like, is this harmful that I'm doing this? Or is this like a OCD compulsion that I can keep? And she's like, "Well, why are you doing that? Like, what's the deep rooted thing?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't always know why I have like a compulsion to do this. Like, I just have if I don't do it, I get a really bad feeling in my stomach that something bad's gonna happen. So, like, it's always gonna be a new thing. And when I'm stressed, like, I know my ADHD, my OCD, all of the things act up really bad. So that's when I go into like episodes and it does get worse. So there's like hills and valleys, or mountains and valleys. And if you haven't been through it, you don't understand it. Even if you have been through it, like myself, I can only go off of my experience. There are medical professionals who know more, have done case studies, have read case studies. So, yeah, I don't know. I I think that you are just not a good match. And um people are commenting and saying, like, he's just communicating that the OCD is a problem for him, but he did it wrong. And it's like, no, like, he's just a bad, like, he's just was a jerk regardless. Like, I mean, you can have a problem with OCD, but yeah, yeah, he handled that the wrong way. And I'm glad you broke up. I'm glad you were in therapy. It is something really tough, and it's something that just never goes away, but I'm glad that you're with medical professionals who can help you. I want to do one more quick one, but all of these are pretty long. Okay, this one's pretty short, and I want to get to this one. This will be our last one. It is titled, "Grandmother gave my brother and me an equal share portfolio each when we were kids. Brother sold his when they were worth a car. I left mine in, and now they're a substantial amount. Brother and his girlfriend want my half now." Ooh, it's giving prodigal son with a twist. So the original was posted January 3rd, 2018. So we're taking it back a little bit. "When my brother was 16 and I was 4, my grandmother set aside a share portfolio for us. As soon as we were old enough, it was transferred into our own accounts, and it was only 4 years later that my brother dipped heavily into his and bought a new Honda. I knew about mine for much longer than he did before it became mine, and watched it grow since I understood what it was. By the time I was given full control, it was already worth a ridiculous amount because a big portion of it was invested in Apple. And I'm torn on using the funds locked up as they are because dad drilled it into me to leave it to grow until I'm 40 something. Hmm. That's a hard one because I'm like a huge believer that I want to have a lot of experiences while I'm young enough to still experience them because I know like as I get older I'm just not going to be able to do as much, whether it's because I have kids, whether it's because my body's aging. But also, yeah, like what would that's a tough one, but it's ultimately your personal decision and like whether you want to have like but put it towards like a house or whether you want to have experiences. I get it. Like retiring is also great, and if you're doing good without it, just save it for retirement and retire early. But yeah, I'm glad that you're doing smarter than I am. I would have a hard time with that because I'm not great with finances, but we're learning. I don't talk much with my brother. He's done some dumb things to the family over the past few years, and I didn't really grow up with him, so all I usually hear about his life comes through dad. His new girlfriend works in law, though, and I've received a formal letter from them both that the investments my grandmother made were designed to be for both of us to use, not just for me alone. And his was only around $15,000. Oof, yeah, he took that out early. The number is right, but mine was only worth that at the time he spent it too. They want half of the value of mine now, and his girlfriend has informed me that if I don't give them access, then the legal fees and fines would eat up my half and I'd be left with nothing. Dude, you need to find a lawyer who would just like shred them, shred them because they're clearly grasping at straws. And I feel like anyone who like read this, like any judge would be like, you're a greedy dummy. Like, leave this, leave this person alone. The dividends alone support a huge part of my life, and they've saved me a few times. If half of that disappeared, it set me back years. I know it sounds selfish, but I'm really used to having the extra income back me up when I've wanted to move. I've lived in 4 states by my own choice, and I want to move and take in more before I settle down, if I ever do. Honestly, it sounds like you're really smart with your finances. Like, teach me your ways. And I think that it's just a scare tactic. Like, I don't think that they can do anything because he chose to take it out. It's not like it was against his will. It's not like someone did it for him. Was he a minor? Like, that's the only thing I can maybe think of. But then he would have to go after like your parents, not you. But he got it for a car for himself. Yeah, he was 16. Wait, when my brother was 16. And soon as we were old enough, so I guess he was an adult, so I mean, I don't know a ton about legalities, but I think he's kinda screwed. It isn't r/legal advice, so hopefully we'll find that out. How likely is it that they'll win and leave me with nothing? As far as I know, there's no paperwork or will, just my grandmother's word. She set up my brother's accounts when he turned 19, but she gave them to dad at the same time my brother got his, and dad transferred the whole lot to me 6 years ago. For my share, I have all the logins, the trading accounts, and bank accounts are in my name, and the shares are all solely in my name too. Should I find my own lawyer? And if I need one, what kind do I need? I have an accountant I've used for years, but this doesn't seem like an accountant's problem, but a law one. Oh, maybe I should get. I'm too poor for an accountant, but like, your accountant sounds great. Then clearly they kept you going. Um, yeah, I think this is pretty open shut, but let's see what the update says. This update came a couple months later, so March 31st, 2018. Oh, so actually, I think they're from another country, and it's March 1st, 2018, and then March 31st, 2018, instead of January 3rd. So, oops. Mostly good news. I worked with my dad and got my own lawyer. I got the timeline of my shares wrong, but it comes out the same. What my brother and I inherited from my grandmother was originally part of my grandfather's portfolio. He was the money savvy one. My grandmother looked after those after he died, and she personally set up my brother's accounts and gave him control of his part. She didn't do the same with mine before she died. I thought she had already set the accounts up for me and had given control to dad before passing. Instead, the shares were in her will, and she left everything she owned to my dad with instruction that what was $15,000 worth when my brother got his equivalent part would go to me when I was old enough to know how to take care of them. There was no trust. She just trusted my dad. My dad did the right thing and set up accounts for me and gave me control 6 years ago. My dad put some of his own shares in there too as an extra leg up. Oh, so maybe that could be an issue, but he would he have put it in your brother's if he didn't like sell it? Dad admitted to me he chewed out my brother last year when he came to ask him for money, and dad had supported him several times over the years and got to the point he'd had enough. My brother found out I still had my investments because dad had used me as an example of how brother should have been using his money. That's how my brother found out I still had shares and they'd grown. I mean, I don't think your dad's necessarily in the wrong. I have a rule with my family that it's like my parents, like, don't tell my siblings unless I tell you to, because, like, not that they would do anything like this. It's just, like, my business. Like, as an adult, like, it's my business. But it's not, like, necessarily anything wrong. We just, like, don't share each other's tea when we talk about things like finances or whatever, because, like, you just never know, you know? There's been a lot of trauma. So, yeah, I don't think, I mean, especially if your dad helped him out over the years, then I feel like that possibly evens out with him helping you with some extra shares. Like, you're just responsible. According to all that info, my lawyer tells me I'm in the clear, but it's not going to get to the point of finding that out in court, as my brother's girlfriend was only a legal secretary. I say was because the firm she worked for apologized and informed my lawyer she was terminated immediately. The letter I received from them had been edited to put her name in a position higher up than it should have been, and some of the contact information had been changed. Period. A week after she was fired, my brother visited me begging for money. His girlfriend is in serious debt and she took a chance on scamming cash from me and lost. I felt awful rejecting my own brother over and over, and if he hadn't involved his girlfriend needing an amount well into 5 figures, I might have given him some. The next morning, I found all my tires had been slashed. Screw him, I don't feel bad anymore. Call the police. I don't know if they would do anything because I don't know if there's any, like, proof, but ring cameras are a heck of a thing, even though this was in 2018. Um, yeah, I just, like, your brother sounds like a scummy person, but, like, his girlfriend is also scummy. Just, that's not their money to take, period. So, like, it sounds like they were, like, hoping maybe there was a way, but, like, they knew better. They knew that they were gambling and losing. The rest of the comments in the previous thread made me realize I don't know nearly enough about what I'm doing with the shares and dividends and money in general. A lot of the decisions I've made have been with Dad's help, and his advice has paid off well so far, but not because I knew it would, but because I had no idea what I was doing and left it up to him. I booked in to work with a financial advisor to make the most of what I have. Thanks for all your comments. Okay, I'm glad you're doing that. Um, actually, that's great. I have some great podcasts and stuff I can recommend. Do as I say, not as I do. Um, I'm trying to learn more about finances, but I don't want to invest until I get out of my debt, which I don't have a ton, but it's enough that I just want, like, a clean slate before I start investing in stocks and stuff. Like, I'm just snowballing money at the debt. So, yeah, a financial advisor would be great. Um, but do your own research so that when they give you advice, you can be like, okay, yeah. Or, oh, I don't know if I'd be too interested in that. The risk is this. Have you thought about, like, what do you think about this with this amount of money? Like, yeah, I always recommend that. So let's read the comments. The top one is, I'm always waiting for the kicker when someone at a law firm misuses letterhead stationery and expects not to get caught. Sure, they probably expect their victim to roll over, but thankfully many people do their diligence. OOP's brother makes bad choices all around, it seems. Yeah, there's been a couple of times, especially, like, in college where, like, a roommate got upset and, like, moved out, or, like, a friend decided they didn't wanna be in the friend group anymore, and, like, we had, like, gone in together to, like, buy something, where they've had, like, their uncle, like, write a letter, or, like, I guess ChatGPT didn't come out until after. Wow, okay, I feel old. Like, something like that where it's like they just ChatGPT is the new uncle who's a lawyer, where it's like they don't even practice, like, that type of law, but they just write the letter that makes no sense, and you're like, "This would not hold up in court." I literally still have them. I have them mainly to just laugh at, but I have them filed in, like, my college part of my files, um, because it's I just people be trying. I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, but I don't know. I don't know if, like, your legal license is worth that. Um, I don't know if you can get in trouble for, like, writing a letter like that, but I don't know. Kinda crazy. What do you guys think? I wanna know your thoughts on all of these. That was the final story. Words are hard. But yep, I want to know the tea. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know your opinions. Do you like the theme of, like, money? Should I do that more often? Do you like more con themes? I want to know, like, what do you want to see from me? I love you guys so, so much. And that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys later. I upload every single Sunday, and yeah, if you like stories, this is the place to be. We're super cozy, we're super chill, we're besties, and we just are all, like, nosy who want to be nosy in, like, a space where we won't be judged for it. So this is that spot. Like, let's be nosy, let's be petty, let's chit chat, let's do all the things. This is your place to yap and not feel judged. I know I get judged for yapping, so I'm opening the floor up to you now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys later. I love you so, so much. And yep, bye guys.